Be focused on steroids or economic stimulus. Is Congress taking its eye off their ball? Our Fox panel steps up to the plate to take a swing at that topic, and we are now joined by Victoria Barrett, who joins us from Forbes out in San Francisco. Good to see you, Victoria. So what about this? You know, they're spending a lot of time on this issue, getting some press time, but meanwhile we got the banks going insolvent and solving a lot of other problems.
Sure, there are a lot of problems, and I have a disclaimer here. I am not a big baseball fan. I only watch sports by accident when someone else in my home happens to be watching them, which is a lot. But I think this is great. The counterintuitive take is that Congress is distracted by this stuff and isn't going to meddle in our economy. Look, there are a lot of problems right now in our economy, but the solution isn't in Congress. The solution is in the markets working this out, which is what has to happen. Anything Congress does in the form of a stimulus will just prolong the problem, in my mind.
Tom Atkins?
Well, I think it's an irony that the party that is famous for surviving by lying, cheating, and stealing is now investigating people who lie, cheat, and steal. The best part about it is, here's a party that defended the president's right to lie about molesting women in court, and now they're upset about baseball players who might have been lying in front of Congress about doing steroids. It's just stupid. This might be 697 on the list of important things facing America, but it makes sense that this Congress is facing it first.
Alex, go ahead.
Look, it's absolutely reasonable to bring George Mitchell and Douglas Fair in front of the committee. It wraps up an investigation that was important for, I mean, look, this is America's national pastime. But I take exception to their interest now in bringing in Clemens, because the only thing that's going to come from that is just more ugliness.
Yeah,
so
ugliness. It's going to be a zoo-like environment, yeah.
It's going to be so ugly, and the thing is, it's going to undermine potentially George Mitchell, or it's going to catch Clemens in a lie.
But Peter, I bet a lot of people are going to be watching. If you have McNamee and Clemens side by side, how many people could turn away from that?
Yeah. Well, look, talk about fiddling while Rome burns. But the Congress shouldn't be concerned with either. We don't need a stimulus package. I mean, the last thing we need is Americans to spend more money. I mean, that's how we got into this mess. We're broke. But what the government can do is recognize that it's a huge burden on the economy, that we are broke. We can't afford this gargantuan federal government. And what the government could start doing is slashing programs, cutting spending, so the government is less of a burden on our economy, so that we can dig our way out of this hole. But it's going to take a long time.
Not a bad alternative to focusing on steroids.
No, I agree. I mean, we don't need Americans to spend more. And I also agree with Victoria. I mean, let Congress have their little play dates with their favorite players, and it's better than them meddling and making this situation even worse. But there's laws on the books. If this is illegal, it's illegal. It's the same thing when they call up the CEOs on insider trading. Insider trading is against the law. If you trade on inside information, whether you're a CEO or janitor, you should pay for it.
So Victoria, it's got to all be for show, right? I mean, we know that Clemens is going to say I didn't do it. We know that McNamee is going to say I did, or he did do it. I did shoot him up with steroids. So basically, it's just it's theater. That's it.
It's great theater that distracts everyone, including Congress.
What did you say, Alex? Go ahead.
It's ratings, just as you said. If you want to pump a little action into the economy, why not start with some advertising dollars from televising all of this?
Yeah,
mess?
And actually, let's look at things, Tom. We have Congress with ratings about half of those, which President Bush does,
deservedly.
And maybe they want to take the eye off the ball that they're not hitting, which is what Peter was saying. They should be talking about where they're going to be cutting taxes, where they're going to be cutting spending. Instead, they focus on baseball because they know it's an easy thing.
I've talked to members of Congress, a lot of them, and I'll tell you, when it comes to economics, most of them, they're about sharp as a bowling ball. They don't know anything they're talking about. They're clueless.
So is it better to have them talk about baseball?
If the Congress has the king Midas touch in reverse, everything they touch goes to hell. Stay out of the economy, cut the taxes, and just get lost. We'll take care of it ourselves.
So, Peter, wouldn't you rather have them talk about something where they could do no harm?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, that's all they tend to do is harm. The government, they grow their power base. They increase their regulation. They increase what they spend and what they take in taxes. Unfortunately, politicians don't want to shrink government. They want to expand it. We need to change the attitude in the government and get them to understand that it's expensive for the economy to maintain this level of government.
Peter, do you realize what an extraordinary day this is? everybody is agreeing with you. We've had 2 segments now,
Well, I must have
and
said
nobody
something
is
wrong, then.
disagreeing.
I must have misspoke somewhere.
Nobody from Congress ever lost their election by promising free beer. If you give people stuff for free, they'll think, well, I'm going to vote for that guy again. So look, Peter, you and I disagree on almost everything. This is one thing that you're my long-lost brother on.
All right. Let's leave it at that, folks.